may spend their days passively searching for something interesting to do. Others dig in and find it. While nothing is certain, anything is possible. And the anticipation leads you into action. Because it's here that adventures begin. Stories are unearthed. Secrets are revealed. Fortunes are found. Mysteries are solved. And the past is brought to life. Nothing valued is ever lost. It's simply waiting to be discovered. So here's the question. What are you looking for?
It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Detecting Show. Hello, young man, how are you all?
I'm all right, David. You all right?
We'll be in a minute because my phone's just gone silly.
And
I've opened up things I don't know why I've opened them. And
you've had a busy week. You got run over, and
ran myself over.
Yeah, you ran yourself over, didn't you? I don't know if you want to tell
now,
people.
Listen, for people who are going out this weekend or run up to Christmas, I went out on Saturday night with five friends from work, and I've been pinged twice from Saturday night yesterday by the NHS app. So just beware and be careful because I've got a very, very burning sensation in my test. Although I keep getting negative lateral flow tests. I've booked a PCR test, but just be wary when you are out and about at the moment. And yes, I ran myself over tonight on the way home from work. I needed a wee desperately. So I jumped out the car. I've got an automatic car and I left it in drive, and the car decided to go off on its merry little way. So I ran myself over a little bit.
Had you pulled your trousers up after going for a wee?
I hadn't got it out by that point.
I was going to say, because that would be really fortunate. Man found crushed to death with penis out.
Easy now.
So in
kids' bike outside.
Yeah, what a way to go. People think, what on earth was he doing? What was he doing?
They'd probably got gnawed on by badgers as well because it was
you would have been. Yeah. But no, it's getting everywhere, isn't it, Omicron, which is more of a reason why. Don't go to that Christmas meal with friends. Don't meet up. Go in a field on your own and detect. Lot safer. Lot safer.
Indeed. Hey, listen, first and foremost, on the back, let me see, how do we do this? I have to keep reminding myself how to do this. I'll do that. So we do that. On the back of our guest last week, I set up a coffee account. Or is it a code? Can you see that?
Ko-fi.
Can we see that?
Yeah.
So I've set us up a Ko-fi account, and you can buy us a cup of coffee. And basically that will, if anybody does want to donate, that goes to the upkeep of the website. towards the physical copies of the magazine, the hosting fees of the website, as I say, the streaming fees. Because it's all our legal fees. This is all out of our own pocket. So if you would like to, and there'll be other bits and bobs going on there. We might even put on some bits and bobs that you may buy one day. Not cool fish that have been made out of glass. I'm not
stuffed badgers.
And also, we've redeveloped one of the pages. Do you like this page, Adrian? The store on the website.
Yeah.
So you've got a link to the start to Peaky Finders Metal Detecting Finds and Rallies, which I will get to momentarily. Direct to all the products, and then you can also go on to find our merchandise, and you can click on that and go direct to that on Detecting Wear UK. And then we've got some products from the whole composite cleaning pencil range, and the McGrafter one at the bottom. So Paul and Graham from the composite cleaning pencil and McGrafter, they've obviously sorted us out with some products. So in reciprocally, we're putting some links on for them for their products to help them out. There's our stuff on there, which we don't make any money out. All the money goes. He makes a profit on that, not ourselves, and he's selling it dirt cheap. And obviously this is helping Luke. Now that is the store on our website, but stop sharing. Peaky Finders have an entire beautiful new website, which Luke is going to pull up for us now, and we will have a brief look at that. And viewers of the Big Detecting Show and readers of the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine will get some benefits. I am, to a degree, involved in this, loosely. Obviously, me and Luke, Luke, what's the word, Adrian, I'm looking for now? I said it before.
Pastry.
Luke is my pastry. No, not pastry. Luke and I have been friends for a number of years. Not in that way. Partner in the magazine, more or less. So obviously, I want to help him as much as I can. So Luke, where's your website? Luke, website. Luke. Website.
It's probably gone down.
Luke, sexy new website.
Well,
anyway, he's got a sexy new website, and in the coming days, there's only going to be one set of codes for the Big Detecting Show and the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, and you'll be able to get a discount on the Peaky Finders shop for all the thing. Luke, I'll tell you what, you might have fell asleep. I'll do it. Bear with me.
I had a brief look earlier on this week.
I'm lost. There we are.
Well, he needs to get it ready for all those new metal detectors coming out.
It's there and it's ready. Tell me when I'm showing again. Oh no, I've got to add that. Oh, there I am.
Now.
Right. So here's the new Peaky Finders Metal Detecting Shop and Rally. So as well as metal detectors, there are accessories, experience days, and lots more. As you can see, beautiful new website. So if we click on the metal detectors, we'll see the Nocta Macro range, which Luke sells. And you've got the entire range there of Nocta Macro products. And as I say, Luke will be, in the coming days, issuing a code so you can actually get money off. So, very nice new website. So please go over and support it. Even if it's simply to go and buy Luke's very own design Peaky Finders cap. A cap with a Peaky Finders badge on it. And then you can walk around and look like Luke because he's dapper as hell. Second most dapper man in metal detecting. Isn't he, Adrian?
Yes. But they're out of stock, it said there.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind.
I think that's just because he's obviously been populating it the last couple of days. So pop on over if you want to buy, obviously, any of your products and sort Luke out. Yes, there are free Just Detect windows on because we have free Just Detect draws tonight. One was supposed to be done last week, but I didn't get the link. So there we go. Dodgy Dave's Dogging Death Investigate. Anyway, without further ado, we'll introduce tonight's guests. Them lovely people, John and Laura Wells. Good evening, both.
Good evening, guys.
There's John.
Hello.
And there's Laura.
You're right.
We're all right.
Hi, John. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Are you both well?
Yes, we've been working hard today together because Laura's having some time off because today we stripped down about 50 pallets, getting ready to make some raised beds for Laura's allotment.
Recycling.
I saw she'd been looking for a pallet breaker.
Yeah, I had to buy one in the end. I was so stingy. I thought, I wonder if I could make one. I thought,
Did you not have a crowbar?
No, it's not a crowbar. It's the dog's what's it? It's great.
I use a crowbar on mine.
Yeah,
Are these for your allotment, Laura?
Yeah.
You're getting into that, aren't you?
Yeah,
well,
but
really
I've
successful
now.
last year.
Yeah, now I've basically I've been helping clearing the allotments, and they said I could take my detector over because it's that whole area is was what was it? King Henry VIII's hunting grounds, and it's called Charles Moore Forest or something like that before it became.
It's got loads of history.
Populated.
And you've got a lovely building on there that we've seen in photographs that you found the history on as well. So you may find. Tell us about the history of this little building on the allotment.
So they're like 18th century and 18th, 19th century. And basically when people were growing things back in the day, they would live in there while it was while they were harvesting, so no one would take anything. But we've gone over a little bit on my plot, haven't we, Dad? And you found a buckle, so I'm gonna do all the plots if I can, and then do some filming, and then see what we can.
Sorry, Laura. Before we forget, we're not on here to talk about allotments tonight. It'd be nice if we did, but did you and your dad want to introduce yourselves? Because your dad looks very official with all those certificates behind him. They look like swimming ones, though.
They're not certificates, actually. They're notices from the charity rallies that I used to look after. Different some £2,500, £3,000. Don't forget, I was organising charity rallies since the early 80s, and basically, once you've sort of handed over the money, they're very, very grateful, and they give you a certificate and something. And I've loved doing them. I still like to do them now. Had a great relationship with Rotary, different Rotaries throughout the Midlands, and we prospered from them because they would get us the land, and we would raise them the money. And I always made it a rule, though, not one penny was to be used by anybody else other than the charity rally. We've helped all sorts of people. Prolifically, we did a lot for polio victims in India. There's a very well-known surgeon in Coventry, and he was looking to raise money, and we raised him a lot of money over several years, in which he took out young doctors out to India to look after some of these kids that were affected by polio. So, we still love doing it, and of course, they gave us or got us land that we would never have got on otherwise. Because
all this from detecting. But what was the first time you picked up a detector, John, and got into it?
Oh, now listen, this is quite interesting. I used to know a guy called John Barton. When I worked at Chrysler, John Barton, we used to spend our lunchtime together. And I was a keen footballer then, and I used to play regularly. So train 3 times a week, and I used to play for 2 teams. And we got talking, and I said, I play football. I said, what do you do? And he said, I go metal detecting. I said, well, what's all that about then? He says, well, I'm quite lucky because where the Foss meets the Watling Street, there's a place called High Cross. And he said, I've got permission to follow the plough. I said, do what? He said, well, when the plough churns up the ground, he said, I go detecting and I find all these coins. I said, really? I said, yeah. He said, I'll bring some in tomorrow. And he brought them in the following day. And I was fascinated with all these Roman coins. And I thought, this is great. I said, next time you go out, can I come with you? And he went, yeah, okay. And this time he took me on a park, a Coventry Park, whereby prior to the Boer War, there was an encampment for the soldiers that were getting all their kit together and learning how to march and shoot and all the rest of it. And we found no end of Victorian coins. We were finding half crowns, shillings, and it was just every other signal was a really nice coin. And I was hooked then. I thought, gotta get a machine. But being me and being mean, I decided, I tell you what I'm going to do. My brother-in-law's quite keen on electronics. I'll get him to make me one. Anyway, we spent hours and hours trying to sort out this machine. And we got it to work eventually. But I don't know if you realise that the most difficult part of any machine is the head, because he had two intercepting decoils, and he had to lock them in with epoxy resin. And if they moved slightly, then the oscilloscope would register. Anyway, we finally got it right, and we took it to North Wales on the beach, and he wouldn't pick the dustbin lid at 2 inches. It was rubbish. And so I was hooked. But I said to my wife, I said, I've got to get a proper machine. And my first machine was a C-scope IB with the two controls. And I was hooked. From that point on, I joined a local club, which I didn't even know the other people existed. And then it led to all the different things that I've led myself up to this date. And it's all through John Barton. I'd love to meet up with him again, because I've either got to praise him or curse him, because I say it's left me with a hobby that is all consuming now, and I love it.
And Laura, you followed your dad's footsteps. Was it love at first sight, detecting, or was it just went with him?
No, my dad used to take me out so my mum could watch Brookside on a Sunday. She could watch the omnibus, and got rid of me. And then, so how old was I, Dad?
About 4.
And then I came out of it for a while, obviously, because I'm a teenager and those sort of things ain't called. But then Dad had a triple heart bypass. So I started going out, had an old machine, had a mine lab, then had a Deus. I've still got the Deus. And then, I found my first hammered coin. I found it on Halloween. I can still remember exactly where it is. And it was just, do you know when you open up the clod and you can just see it there? And I was hooked then. And I was like, I need a Deus. So very kindly, I got one for my 30th. And then, just been constantly. It's constant. I'm always asking, when are we going out detecting with my dad?
Always.
Anyone else in the family interested, or?
Well, my son actually was working in Dubai, and he got one of these little underwater ones. You know, it looks like a little tennis racket, a little badminton racket. And he was going obviously not inland, but he was going in the sea, and he was snorkeling, and he was finding various bits and pieces, and he found this watch, which he picked out. I haven't got it on tonight, but as soon as he shook it, it started working again, and he gave it to me. But he believes that there's a shop in Dubai that sells machines. But when people ask about it, nobody can ever find it. But they're a bit cagey over there. When you're detecting, you can't sort of go on these very, very posh hotel beaches, because obviously that's where all the goodies are, because all the millionaires just hang out there. But no, it's popular, but I say popular to an extent. But you know, it's something that I think probably could grow to Dubai. But then again, so many people out there are so rich, they don't need to go detecting, do they?
No, but good point.
He's no longer there, by the way. He's upstairs at the moment.
Oh,
because when COVID kicked in, they closed all the schools. My son teaches A-level maths. They closed all the schools and got rid of all the contractors. So he's been living back with us since.
I'm sure Laura's got a room spare.
No.
Definitely not.
You haven't met a brother.
So you've been detected now, John, for what, about 20 years?
More like 40 odd. Good God, eh? I tell you what. And do you know something? I still find it's the most fascinating hobby. I mean, there's so many facets to it. Research, people, land, out in the fresh air, the nature. It's just. I would recommend it to anybody. And when Laura said, when I was going through my triple bypass, I was doing my convalescent afterwards, they kept saying, you know, what's your aim? What's your goal? I said, I want to go out detecting. And of course, whenever you mention detecting, people are instantly fascinated. Oh, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. And you think, well, bloody get on and do it then. But you know, it's I think it's the most fascinating hobby in the world. I do. But then again, I'm sorry.
I think with all the media talking about people finding certain artifacts and hoards and things, people at my work now have all, whereas a few years ago they were taking the mickey out of me, now they all sort of like, oh, if I was going to buy a detector, how much would it be? Where can I detect? People are starting to get interested now. And I think we've seen that since lockdown, more and more people taking it up as a hobby. You get good things and bad things in it. But the last 40 years, how do you think it's changed, John? What areas?
Oh, absolutely, tremendously. I mean, when I first started, we had, of course, the ancient law of treasure trove. And it basically meant that everything you found was yours, because you could almost argue that everything that was lost was an occasional loss. It wasn't hidden. And of course, then the poor old coroner had to decide, was it secreted in order to be got back, or was it just an occasional loss? And he could never decide. And so mostly people gained from it. And it was, people were thinking, well, this is great, because if we can maintain the status quo, we're quids in. But the government and officialdom had other ideas. And as I say, in the early 90s, we got wind of the fact that, you know, there has to be changes, because so much stuff was not being seen by the archaeologists, and a lot of stuff which was quite valuable at that time was being hawked over, you know, out of the country, or being bargained for over a pint in a local pub. And so therefore it was felt there was a need to to not restrict the hobby, but to bring it into some sort of order. And that's when I was the chairman of the National Council, and I got involved with a team of very, very good volunteers, great guys. Unfortunately, I'm not the only one still alive. And we met with the government, the Home Office, the British Museum, etc., and we hammered out a plan that you know. And I remember Lord Perth said to me in one of his, he invited me down to his home in London to discuss this thing. And we went down with the guy, and when we sat there with him, he said, if I guarantee that if you'll accept changes to the ancient law treasure trove, he said, I guarantee this hobby will never be banned. Now, that was a pretty wild statement. And to this date, we're obviously not banned. And of course, we have the Port of Antiquities scene coming on the tail of that, and the Treasure Act, 1996. And if nothing else, I'm very proud of the fact that I got involved in that. But do you know something? I've worn it like a chain around my neck, because there are lots of people who weren't involved at that time. They weren't even, I don't think they were even detecting at that time. And now it's like as if to say, well, those days are gone now, John, and you know, you've done your bit, now you can slide away. But if it weren't for people like me and those other guys, you know, talking to various people and putting ideas forward, then this hobby might be going in a different direction. People forget that, though. But then again, people forget lots of things, don't they?
Laura, you've been involved actually now continuously. How many years has that been? I mean, obviously you're a 4-year-old, but since you started and you've been going properly,
probably about six years.
Yeah, it's about that.
But I'm more like the historical side of things. So I like coins, but if I find a brooch or a buckle or something like an artifact, I enjoy that more, because then you can get a gist of what was going on there, instead of, do you know what I mean? Like how people lived, or what was on the area. And yeah, so about 6 years. Yeah. And that's every Sunday.
Chip in here, Laura. Tell them where we went. Tell them where we went on Monday.
Oh, I went to the Corinium
Yes,
Museum.
Sister. If you're interested in artifacts, Roman history, or from Paleolithic times right the way forward, if you're interested, go there. It's absolutely fascinating. A brilliant museum. And of course, Cirencester. Oh my God! I think every time you plant potatoes in the garden, you come up with a coin. Absolutely.
See, these places to me, John, this is where I'll have to do on my world tour, because living in Congleton, you know where that is, obviously up the M6 from yourselves. It's all a bit far when it comes to travelling, sadly.
I know.
Especially when you got kids who've got absolutely no interest in going around museums.
It was an hour's run for us, but it was well worth the trip. You know, and the beauty of it was there's hardly anybody there. It's great.
Yeah, I love museums. Absolutely love museums. My granddad, who got me into detecting, many years ago, a lot of his stuff is still at the British Museum. Some of his finds, which he donated, which was nice. But every time you go up there, it's so big and so huge, and they swap stuff around, don't they? They're constantly changing displays, and I'm yet to see any of his finds. But he had some very interesting finds up there: Roman, medieval, Celtic. But it because he didn't really have a camera then, so. Unlike now, we take a photo with our phone and share it. There's not a lot. It's documented like stuff he's written down and drawings, but the actual artifact, I don't know where it is now. Maybe if I went and asked to see it, they'd probably show it, but I don't know.
People ask me what's the most interesting thing you've ever found, and believe it or not, it's not metallic. I found a what I considered to be a axe head looking shape. But it was the wrong material, because all the axe heads I've ever seen, and the other one that I found was made of flint. But this one was, and at my local club, we invited the local finance liaison officer to come along, and she brought an expert from the British Museum who just happened to be in the area. I think he was visiting Birmingham Museum at the time, and he came along, and we were asked to bring our bits and pieces forward, and people have got like flint arrowheads and things like that. And I showed him this lump, which I'd been using, by the way, as a doorstop, because it was that ugly. Okay. And he looked at it, he said, where did you find this? And I went, well, near a quarry, near Stoneleigh. And he went, do you realise what this is? I said, no, it's a doorstop, isn't it? He went, no. He said, can I take it away? Anyway, they took it away, but I think it was gone for about, I don't know, 4 months. And I got a report back. It was only one of 11 that's ever been found, and it was made of andesite. Well, you know, the Andes in South America.
Yeah.
That's made out of. And this particular, it was an axe head. Well, it would have been had it been finished, but it was sort of half finished. And it was actually sitting in Warwick Museum. And when I went to collect it, Warwick Museum said, "Would you donate it, John?" And I went, "Well, not really." I said, because every year, you see, we have an exhibition in Coventry whereby the Guildhall, we take over the Guildhall for 2 days, and we put on an exhibition. We get about 2,000 people come through every weekend, that weekend. And I wanted to display it, you see. I said, I'll tell you what, at some point, I said, I will probably donate to the museum, but I said, but it won't be till I'm dead. At which point they said, well, could we take a plastic, sort of a cast of it? And I went, well, I haven't got around to doing it yet, but I am going to donate it because it's sitting here and doing nothing. But yeah, I mean, that's the most interesting thing I've ever found. One of only 11 that's ever been found.
Mm.
Haven't you? Wow. You've had a treasure thing go through, haven't you, recently?
Oh yes, yeah. I was looking up to find out. I thought when I was detecting, I thought I picked up a groat. And I love groats. Of all the coins that I found, I love groats. I like them because of their size. And I like them because of their detail. This particular day, I got a signal and picked up this what I thought was a groat, and I thought that's beautiful. That is. When I turned it over, I thought, well, there's two nodules on it. Anyway, I went back and I showed everybody at lunchtime, hoping to get the find of the day, and they said, well, that doesn't look like a groat, doesn't look like any sort of groat we've seen in this country. And when I looked and did some work on it, what it was a Knights Templar coin of the Knights Templar period, and the lady who owned the land, I wrote her a complete sort of like a story on this particular thing, and I took it that evening. A week later, to our club meeting, and the fines liaison officer was there, and she said, John, she said, that's great. She said, I said, yeah, it's great. Nice coin. She said, John, it's not a coin, it's a brooch. I went, you're joking. She said, and as a brooch, she says, it's treasure. I didn't see it for 13 months. And when I finally got it back, I took it to the landowner. And what I did, I took her along some of the groats as well for her to give it, sort of like to show what I thought what it was. She was more interested in the groats than she was in the Knights Templar. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13 months though. That's not. Was it 13 months?
Yeah. Well, of course, the treasure valuation committee moves very slow. Everybody knows that.
2.5 years I've been waiting for a ring I found.
Seriously.
Yeah, and it's Colchester Museum is near me, and they email me every month and say it's now with the coroner, and he's inundated with stuff. But the farmer,
Adrian,
I think,
5 years now. No, I'm lying. I've never found anything. I'm just lying. Just want to join in.
But yeah, John, it's the farmer sort of. I think at first was getting a bit dubious, so I forwarded him all the emails. But it does worry me in the hobby because people, hear of stories like mine. I shouldn't really talk about it, and it puts them off from declaring stuff.
Yes, I know.
And I think the problem is this, the valuation committee, the flow, all those involved. There's so many people, and it's all reliant at some person at the end of the day. And I know there's been COVID and all that, but I just don't know. But the farmers like, well, what are they doing with it? And I said, well, they're doing the basically the museums didn't want it. The British Museum then had it for a bit, and then it went to the Treasure Valuation Committee. They've then given it to the coroner, but it's just constantly all over the shop. And I think the farmer now is sort of like, well, do you have to declare it? And I said, yeah, I do. Or anything else I find. Yeah, of course I do. He said, well, what's taking so long? And I was like, well, I don't really know. And he said, what do you mean you don't know? And it just, I don't know, it makes you look a bit stupid at the end of the day. Yeah,
I know what you mean, because as I say, I kept the landowner informed all the way going through, and it cleared the British Museum. It cleared the Treasure Valuation Committee, and I wonder what the stumbling block was. And then I heard it was back in the Birmingham Museum, and then of course it was locked in the safe. The Birmingham Museum was closed down because of COVID. So there we sat, and I was sending letters back to the farmer, the landowner, and I said, there's nothing I can do about it. And eventually, when we did get it out, and it was it sort of like it took the shine off it a bit, because I've been sort of like treasure. I mean, people don't realise it. Treasure isn't all like things that glint and diamonds and all the rest of it. And therefore, this single, but I thought was a coin, which obviously turned out to be a Knights Templar brooch. It's a shame because. But we all understand that the Portrait Antiquity Scheme has been so successful that it's been a curse on them, really, because there's so much stuff being entered in now. They can't cope. They cannot cope. And I've spoken on many occasions to various people when Roger Bland was running the Portrait Antiquity Scheme, and I said to him, Roger, this thing needs to be financed properly. This thing needs to be financed properly, so you get more FLOs and more people recording. But
I think also the technology, when you go, well, my flow for definite, you go there and they're filling in forms and bits of paper and faxing them off. It's like, really? It's a local school has got more technology than these people, and they haven't got any money. I think there's a lot of simple. Someone put in the chat, I think it was Philip Wills, about lottery funding. The perfect place to fund, because it's only going to get worse. And the reason I say that, there's so many good new metal detectors coming out now that are getting extra depth, extra reactivity, being able to find better stuff, and people are going to start pulling up more and more stuff, I feel, in the future. So
that's it. Yeah, and the workload will go up, so it goes through the roof.
Laura, have you actually had anything that's gone through the Treasure Act?
She keeps it. Don't tell anyone.
No, I had, is it called a hoard by default? They didn't class it as treasure though. Basically, at Detectoring 2 years ago, I found it was like just a mash of Roman coins that had been like melted together. And then Sam Moorhead, Dad, from the British Museum.
Yeah.
He's like the expert on Roman coins, and apparently it's 3 coins that are melted together. So it was classed as a hoard because they're all the same date, but they didn't want it. So I got it back. But she wrote a really long piece for me, our Foreign Liaison Officer, of like what it is, how they think it was like fused together and everything, because she knows like I like that sort of thing. So yeah, she told me everything about it that she could, and said it was a really interesting find. They'd not seen one before, but they didn't want it because it was 3 coins fused together. But I've still got it.
That sounds nice.
That sounds very interesting. That.
Yeah.
I do remember attending a National Council meeting once where we were sort of milling around prior to the meeting in the foyer of the hotel. And somebody said to me, he said, look at this, Johnny. And he got this carrier bag and he handed me this great big lump of lead. And I went, yeah, good, great, marvellous, yeah. It's a bit of lead, isn't it? He went, turn it over. When he turned it over, there were all these medieval coins fused together.
Wow.
And it was like a great big lump. It was almost the size of it in the carrier bag. It was really heavy. And you could see them all, but they were all fused together. So, and apparently what had happened was they'd been hidden in the loft of a thatched cottage. The cottage just caught fire, and these things had melted, and it was lying there in the debris, and he picked it up. So as a solid lump of silver, it was worth a lot of money. But if you turned it over, it looked like just a solid lump of lead.
True. Sorry, Embers to Ashes in the chat has just said he's a grant writer and would be up for helping out with a bid if it helps free of charge. So that's interesting.
Definitely. That pulls it in together with what we're here for tonight, Dad. That we might be able to talk to him. Yes. Should we get to it? Should we get to it? Otherwise, we'll be talking about stories all night.
So recently, you've not just yourselves, of course, but other people. You've founded a new organisation that you're going to be telling us about, the Association of Metal Detectorists Sport. There it is, Metal Detecting Sport. Now, I'm going to ask you about the name. I understand totally. People are saying about why have you got sport in the title? Now, to me, as a member of the Sporting Alliance and the DCMS, it makes perfect sense. To me, metal detecting is a sport. It's as much a sport. You could quite easily make it into more of a sport that we know. But to me, it is a sport. You know, we do all the fishing. Fishing's classed as a sport. Metal detecting is a sport. DCMS, Sporting Alliance. So tell me about the name and then introduce the whole of the organisation, if you will.
Okay, well, the ADMS, as you quite already say, Association of Metal Detecting Sport. The sport part of it was felt that because of our relationship with SARA, which was the Sports and Recreation Alliance, which I was very keen back in the day on getting involved with, we wanted to incorporate them or sort of become part of their group so that we could attend their meetings. Not only that, we could get ourselves involved with other groups and to reap the benefits of what they were getting in terms of freebies going and grants and whatever. And so we thought that the sport, but one of the people who actually formulated the organisation, the AMDS, said, "I'm pretty sure, you know, there is a scope here for making this into a sport." And I said, "Well, how would it work?" And it was based on the idea that things would be hidden, and you did it over a time period, and you had to identify so that what was in the ground, because they're all marked and ready over a sort of to see how fast you could do it, identify them, locate them, and identify them, and turn it into a prize-giving sport. Whether or not that will ever take off, I don't know. It's early days yet, but that's not our priority at the moment. Certainly not the sports section of it. Our priority at the moment is to get ourselves an insurance that we so sadly are lacking. Well, I'm certainly lacking. That's one of my primary reasons why I got involved with it. because, as you know, I was told that I no longer had insurance from the organisation that I loved and looked after for many, many years. To be honest with you, I had no alternative but to try and discover what it meant in order to get my own insurance. And when I spoke to various other people who felt that the organisation that we were in at the time was not fit for purpose, the 4 regions, that's the Western region, Southern region, Yorkshire region, the Midlands region, decided that, you know something, we don't really need to be a part of an organisation like this anymore. We can go our own way, we can look after ourselves, but we need our own insurance. And we set about getting our own insurance, and we've now got it. And the insurance is quite good. It's brilliant, because not only does it give us all the benefits that we wanted from previous experiences, but it also includes the old nutmeg about will we be covered on commercial digs? And the answer is plainly, yes, you are covered, and you're covered for £5 a year, which we think, you see, we're not out to rip anybody off. We're out to give them value for money. But not only is it going to be an insurance scheme, but the ARMD, that's the affiliated regional metal detectors, and those 4 regions are now very, very much involved in being involved with each other. And we're hoping that we will grow and other regions will come and join us. And as we grow, we become more and more well known. And coming onto a show like yours, hopefully the message gets across. I know that the 2 magazines have been very, very helpful. And we actually launch. Our launch is next Monday, the formal launch. And the 2 magazines, you'll see adverts in the 2 magazines, the Treasure Hunting and Searcher, detailing all about it. But we're going to be more than just a detecting organisation. We're going to have quizzes. We're going to have information. We're going to have links. We're going to have a news page. We're going to have a magazine. And we're going to have all the things that's been done. And we're doing it all through volunteers. And we're very, very lucky that from day one, we have a benefactor who's looked after us and said, listen, you guys, I think you've been treated badly. I'm prepared to help you out to a point whereby I'll get you set up, and then you're going to look after yourselves. And we're very coming near to that point now where we're going to stand on our own 2 feet, and we're going to make it a success. So, yeah, the AMDS, I've never been more excited about anything than when I first joined the National Council all those years ago. And I really am sort of very, very pleased that so many people have bought into the idea that you know, you guys, we like what you're doing, and we're going to support you. And for £5 a year, my God, I mean, it's great value. But yeah, that's what it's all about, guys. And as I say, they're growing by the day. I'm getting inquiries, and all the other members of the organisation are getting inquiries. And we don't want to dwell on the past anymore. We don't need to. We're looking to the future, and we're looking to the future and making it more exciting. Because one of the big problems we've got in this hobby is we've got lots and lots of individuals who are not members of clubs. They want to do their own thing, and we support them for doing their own thing, but they're not represented. They've never been represented. They might have been a statistic whereby, oh yeah, they're part of our group, but the poor people have never ever been represented fully in the wider context of the hobby. Now we're looking to put that right. We're looking to make sure they have a voice, and that voice will be heard, and it will be heard in the right places. And of course, we've got the beauty of it is the people who have set this up are more of the old established order that have got all the contacts, got all the information, got all the knowledge. We've been doing it for years, and we know what we're doing, and we know how to make this a success. So, guys,
thanks,
John.
Laura, just a few questions. Obviously, it's a new organisation that's setting up, but do you said about being more of a voice for detectorists and getting more involved? Will you be attending potentially Detectable, Rodney Cook, etc., stuff like that?
If we're invited,
I certainly will. And if our membership says that that's the place to be, then that's the place we'll be. I mean, the fact of the matter is that when I met you two guys at Detectable last time, I did it especially so I could network and let people know who we are. One of the things we're looking to do is, obviously, I went around and spoke to various suppliers and the manufacturers, and I said, would you give us discounts for our membership? And they said, tell us what you're going to do, give us the information, and we'll see. Now, we've already got quite a few people signed up already for discounts. So these are the sort of things we can offer. But the important thing is that we give a voice to what's parochially known as the Whippet and Woodbine Brigade. These people who aren't in clubs, these aren't in clubs, we all know who they are. Yeah, they're the salt of the earth. If you meet them when you're out detecting, they're great guys. They don't have a lot to say. They just get on with doing the hobby. But to me, they are the people that make up this hobby. I mean, it's not the people who sit in clubs. As much as I love them, and I've got 24 clubs in my area. Oh, by the way, I still managed to maintain those 24 clubs, even though we have been banished into the wilderness. And so the other regions. So therefore, we're going to make a go of this. We're really going to because we've got enthusiasm on our side, we've got technical ability on our side, and we've also got, the right means of going forward. And we're happy to do it. And we're happy to do it for nothing.
That's nice to hear. Yeah, I think transparency and sort of openness is important, especially in something new. Would you you say you're going to be a voice for detectorists? Who, I know you said you got the Searcher and Treasure Hunting magazine have got articles next month or the launch and stuff. Yeah. Who else have you had interested or on board, or can't you say?
Absolutely. We're in discussions with the NFU, the Country Landowners Association, the Portable Antiquity Scheme. In fact, we've had a Zoom meeting with Michael Lewis, the Portable Antiquity Scheme. We have adopted the Code of Practice, whereas before the other organisation only adopted the Code of Conduct. We believe in the Code of Practice, and that's now going forward. We're gaining brownie points by the day. The Country Landowner Association, one of our members is a very, very keen proponent of Detector Watch. Have you heard of that? Heritage Watch? Yeah. I mean, he's now promoting that with all the police forces in the country in order to make sure the hobby is protected and our members are looked after and our members are not labelled as being nighthawks and all the rest of it. So therefore, it is a case whereby we are talking to the right people. And of course, we've known these people for years and years. I mean, the British Museum, Michael Lewis, Roger Bland, the Treasure Valuation Committee, all these people that we're not newcomers to this. We've got the contacts, and if we just want formal recognition, and we're working on that. Just to say, you can't put the NFU logo on the bottom of your paperwork and not believe in it, or the CLA and not believe in it. But what we're going to do, we're writing articles for the CLA. We're actually actively involved with the NFU. I mean, we have the beauty and the wherewithal, the know-how, because we know these people from old. We've grown up with them. So therefore, what we'll do is we'll say, we're no longer with that lot. We're doing our thing with you guys now.
So where can people find out more? Have you got a website or Facebook?
We have got a website. It's amds.org.uk, but it's not up. Our launch is on Monday, so bear with us for a few more days, and then you'll see everything that we've got. We've got our own YouTube channel. We've got Laura will tell you. Come on, Laura.
Do you want me to run through the technical stuff?
Yeah,
now?
Go on, Laura.
Okay. So the website that they've set up. So you can buy your insurance from there. They've got PayPal. You put your details in, and then we'll send you the card. They can pay by backs as well. And there's also an option if you're a club, or say there's like 6 or 7 of you that go out together, we'll do it in a bulk. So because we've done it for years and years and years, so we're very efficient. And generally, Dad could get things out within 48 hours. So you can do PayPal, you can do backs, you can do it as a club, as a bulk. And the website, we've tested everything. You can subscribe at the minute, just to get some information. We've had some really positive feedback from that. So yeah, it will come. It's going to start on the 20th. Am I right, Dad?
Yeah, 20th?
Monday. And then, so if basically you've seen everything that I've put on Facebook, if you've got any questions, like hopefully tonight we can show that the 4 regions, they're just the most knowledgeable people. And my dad's been doing it for 4 years, so he knows people. We've got some really good things coming up as well, so in the new year. But yeah, so is that enough?
I'll tell you what else we've got, which is new, and which so it took me a bit to get used to, but we're now fully on board with GDPR. Now,
very important.
GDPR frightens a lot of people, but it is absolutely essential. I mean, it's been in place since 2018, and people don't realise if you drop the ball on GDPR, it's £100,000 fine.
Yep, and I think it's going to become more and more common. I deal with that in my job, and quite often I see breaches. Not saying in equivalence to your organisation, but I do see it, and I think, that would hurt. I mean, you've got to have a data controller. It's important because you don't want your information leaked, especially when you're handling people's names and addresses and payments and stuff. Talking of payments, sorry, what was the website again?
It's the amds.org.uk.
What an idiot! It's right
there. It's that really Photoshop person, it would seem.
Yeah, and so it launches on Monday next week, and people can subscribe to the website now. But what about when will people be able to take the insurance out? Will it start from January the 1st to December the 30th?
January the 1st, it'll last for a year. Okay.
Right.
And as I say, the way we're launching at the moment is that we're getting people sort of used to the idea that they can get their insurance now, and it will become effective as from the 1st. Because a lot of people are still covered by previous insurance, so they needn't fret too much if there's a slight time lag between the 1st and the 7th of January, for instance. But we're going to be all systems going, all guns blazing as from next Monday. To be honest with you, yeah. And as I say, Laura said, the amount of people have shown an interest already is phenomenal.
John, I think your cooker's going off.
I think it's my fire alarm because I've just realised the house is on fire behind me, Adrian.
Someone's alarm's going.
Somebody's put this in the. It doesn't say who they are, but it says "Sup, Dad." So it's either a child of mine, yours, or John's. I'm not quite sure.
It's not mine.
Definitely not mine.
That sounds like my son.
I can't even hear it, Adrian.
That's
gone
gone.
Stop now. It was yours, Laura, was it?
No, I took the batteries out every time I cook toast. The fire alarm goes off.
My daughter. Hello, Alex. Hello, darling. That's me.
So, people sign up and they get a card. Yeah,
they get a card and they get all the information that we've got. We're going very, very much electronically, though, Adrian. Snail mail is a thing of the past now, and we're hoping that people will latch onto us electronically, because we'll be sending lots and lots of information out electronically. And because obviously we're trying to keep our costs down to an absolute minimum so that we don't rip people off. And therefore, we, as I say, everything we've done, and we've got a good team of people who will be sending stuff out regularly. We'll be conversing with people, and we'll be listening to people, and we'll be looking after the detectorists in a way they've never been looked after before. And because I know how to do it, and because I've done it for many, many years, and I've got a good team around me, good people, good knowledgeable people. In fact, we've got some very, very technically savvy people who leave me for absolute dead, which I'm grateful for, because
I've got one of them. He's called Adrian.
John and Laura, if I'm French and I come over to the UK,
you're not
for
French,
detecting,
mate. You're English.
Or well, can I become a member? Is it UK residents only?
UK residents only. That's what our insurance is covered for. I mean, I do know that in the past, certain people would offer insurance to strangers from another land, but they shouldn't have done. But
Right.
we put a stop to that.
No, that's interesting. I wondered if anyone's got any questions in the chat, actually, about...
Well, if people can come up with questions in the chat, we've got 3 Just Detect draws to pop over to in a moment. Before we do, though, just to let you know that the shows are all now up to date on the podcast. So if you look for the Big Detecting Show on any of your podcast, a normal service, Spotify, iTunes, etc., you'll be able to find every show up to date now that we've ever done. They're all there. I've uploaded 7 in the past week because I didn't realize I got that far behind, but I have. So they're all up to date. And hello to everyone who is listening, not live, on the podcast. Right, we will go over. Time to share the screen. Share the screen. I'll do this in case Luke didn't do it again. It didn't work for Luke before. We're sharing a stream. Add to stream. There we go. Right. So, Just Detect Pro giveaway draw. Good luck. First prize is a Treasure Hunting Magazine 1-year subscription. Second prize, composite cleaning pencil kit. And the third prize, Medieval Artifacts book.
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 Luke at the Kook book.
Kook book.
But and I'm presuming these are all some of the latest finds, recent finds on the Just Detect app. Ooh, but that's a lovely Roman, isn't it?
There's a toy gun there. I love it when people put toy guns.
Darek has won the Treasure Hunting Magazine 1-year subscription.
Congratulations.
Second prize, the composite cleaning pencil kit. That Medieval Artifacts book, is that a Bennett's one?
Yes.
Because I'm still in awe. Let's just see who's won this first. Marcus Reed. So he's won the composite cleaning pencil kit. And the third prize, the Medieval Artifacts book. I'm still absolutely in awe at this. The Bennett's book, which is currently available from Greenlight Publishing. Absolutely stunning. If you want to buy yourself a Christmas present or point your other half or family member to it, get them to get you this. Wayne Trumper. What a name.
What?
I bet he gets the farts taken out of him. Something wrong, doesn't he?
Congratulations.
So the first prize is a Treasure Hunting Magazine 1-year subscription. Second prize, a composite cleaning pencil kit. And third prize, the Medieval Artifacts book to Derek, Marcus Reed, and Wayne Trumper. So that's the first draw. Second draw. First prize is a Garrett Ace Apex metal detector. Second prize, the Garrett Pro Pointer ATZ Link. And third prize, detectable Minelab merchandise. Excuse me. So yes, and the other one is this absolutely
I saw that.
stunning find book. Look at this. Isn't this the best book ever? Look at them drawings.
I think, Chris Rogers, Addicted to Bleeps, on his YouTube channel, did a review of them this week, and he was over the moon with them.
Oh,
really
look at! Oh, I thought that was Adam Staples then. Alan Staples has won the Garrett Ace Apex metal detector. Well done, Alan. I thought it was Adam Staples then.
I'm a bit worried because I can't remember entering and my name's appeared. Fudgy.
Second prize at the Garrett Pro Pointer ATZ Link.
Oh.
That was you, Adrian J. Dean Johnson. The final prize for Detectable Minelab merchandise. Don't forget, you will all be communicated with, I'm presuming via the app, from the people at Just Detect in order to get your details to where you send your prizes to. And the winner of that is former England captain, cricket captain Graham Gooch. So Alan Staples with the Apex, Dean Johnson with the Pro Pointer, and Graham Gooch with the Detectable Minelab merch. And the final draw is for a Search Detector bag, composite cleaning pencil kit, and History of Medieval Coinage in England book. Oh, John as well. Where is it? John.
Yeah.
Remember what you asked me at Detectable? Had you left something by my car?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I found them. I was digging through some boxes the other day, and lo and behold, they were at the bottom of one of the boxes. So, yes, I've got them, so I'll sort that out for you.
That would be
The
great.
winner of the Search Detector bag was Dean Robertson. Not to be confused with Dean Robin. Oh, sugar. You know what I meant. And Liverpool are winning, so I'm all right. I've just had a quick look, beating Newcastle. So the composite cleaning pit number 2 goes to Chris Woodsman Fell. That's
Cool
a
name.
pretty cool name, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the final prize of the night for the history of medieval coinage in England book.
Scotty B, I bet.
Hayden Oak, not Scotty B. So the Search Detector bag. Dean Robertson, the second prize, the composite cleaning pencil kit to Chris Woodsman Fell, and a history of medieval coinage in England book to Hayden Oak. Well done to all the winners in tonight's draws. You'll be contacted by Just Detect very soon, no doubt. There you go. Back to the AMDS. So, Laura, what's your role moving forward? I don't know if roles are actually given as such as yet, but what is your role? Is it social media? Is that your main concern?
Yeah, so I've got a few. I've got some different platforms. So I've got Instagram, Facebook. I don't have YouTube, but I do have TikTok, which is a new one, and I'm getting my head around it. But it's actually really fun because you can piece lots of images together. And you can
Are you 12?
TikTok is good.
TikTok is for 12-year-olds.
No, it's not. Not if you filter it out correctly.
Yeah, if you can actually search for metal detecting. So I haven't checked it today, but it's shot up. I've only been on there about a month, and I've got about 800 followers. So it's going quite well. But yeah, you can filter it out to different things. So some of it.
Luke, if you're listening, set up a TikTok account. I aren't doing it. Nothing to do with me. I'm not 12.
Growing.
You're more 12 than I am.
There hasn't been a threat to YouTube for many years, if not decades, and TikTok now is fastest growing social media platform. It is huge, and what we have to think about, which I'm really pleased Laura's raised this, because we're mocking and joking about sort of girls in bikinis on TikTok and people crashing cars, but you have to look at the whole audience. So just because most detectorists are predominantly in their 50s, smoking a pipe and a beard, like people think,
and not 12.
There are actually young people out there, and you'll see them on Instagram, you'll see them on TikTok, who like metal detecting. They don't go on Facebook. Facebook's for farts and trolls a lot of the time, and people doing other things. But I think it's important to think forward for the hobby, for the future generations, because they're the ones who we need these people on board. If they want to do it in a bikini, fine, but that's a man or a woman. But you're right. I think you need to reach out to everyone, and you don't need, the demographics of metal detecting is predominantly historically elder people, but it is an exciting hobby, and you get out and it's fresh air. And I think shouting about it on TikTok, Instagram, everything is very, very important. And I'm pleased that you said that. I really am. It might not be relevant so much now, but in a 5-10 years time, it could overtake YouTube. And you don't get adverts in TikTok, do you? Like you do in YouTube.
You don't. No, but the thing is, you can with TikTok, it's good because you can have lots of small videos.
Yeah.
So one of my friends was saying to me during lockdown, because I'm now known as the boring person in our friends group, because I don't stay out past 12 o'clock on a Saturday night in the pub because I've got metal detecting in the morning.
Yeah.
She said to me, you should do a TikTok and talk about not only the metal detecting, but like explain what coins they are and what period of history and things like that. and I literally put one video up of a video of a coin, and I've had like 3,000 people view it and like it, and I'm like, what? That's mad.
It's true, because the launch of the Deus 2 last week, everyone went on Facebook and showed pictures of it, like whatever, out in the field and all that. On TikTok, it was actually on there before Facebook, because some people in Europe had it, and there were videos showing, because you only get 60 seconds on TikTok, but there were people showing the graphic equalizer on the new Deus, the different tones you can have and everything. And I've watched it. I thought, yeah, that's interesting. So that if you're not on all these platforms, you do miss out sometimes on things.
Someone's just asked question of the night. Is there a TikTok jail asking for a friend?
Yes, there is.
They will close your account down though if you start messing about. But
just installing it, just in case.
Are you installing it? Add me.
Just in case.
Add me.
You just want another follower. Yeah. What are you, Laura?
What are you, Laura?
So Instagram's metal_detecting_Laura. TikTok is at metal detecting Laura. I think that's right. Yeah. Basically, because I jumped on Instagram and TikTok quite early, I pretty much got the best of the handles. So
yeah, well done.
I was there.
No, it's good, but I think
you see how valuable she is to us, can't you? Because technically, I'm a dinosaur.
Well, I like Laura, your dad's one on TikTok. What is it? Where is your uniform? You know that one?
Is it one where he was walking down the stairs?
Oh, no, I was joking.
It's
normally the one where someone walks in normal clothes and then appears in like a basque or leather gear.
What, you're saying John wears a
basque? It's a soundbite.
I'm sorry, Adrian. I'm not having that. I know John personally. I'm not accepting that.
Cheers, Dave. Our secret is safe.
Yeah, no, there's certain sound clips you can overlay on things, and there's trends that people do. Not that I look at anything like that on there.
You do.
But
It's just easy to swipe. You just sit there and swipe up.
So going forward, will AMD do YouTube channel? Sorry, AMDS. Will you do Will you have like YouTube clips and informative videos?
If you go on www.amds.org.uk, you'll see that we've got a very small description of what it's all about, which will be expanded upon as from Monday going forwards. But it will enable you to, YouTube. We will invite any submissions that people want to put on. Obviously, they've got to be in line with our thinking. But if people want to give us information, want to impart knowledge to us, we're happy to take it on board and we're happy to use it. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be all inclusive, because that's what it's all about. We're not leaving people out in the cold anymore. They're going to be part and parcel of going forward. That sound rather grand, going forward. Yes.
It did very
moving forward. So it's very
moving forward.
Being at work. But yeah, so in the new year as well, I've been chatting to Crawford's for a couple of months now. So yeah, we're looking at doing some pretty cool stuff with Crawford's. Which we're gonna have to. Me and my dad will talk to our contacts, but we'll have to see what happens in January. But I'm going to be one of their influencers. I'm allowed to say that now. So yeah, it would be good to meet them. Hopefully when COVID thing settles down, but we'll be doing some stuff. I'll be doing some stuff, and my dad will be doing some stuff with Crawford's. So brilliant. I'm looking forward to that.
We'll also be doing stuff with C-Scope and Detectnix as well. They're the first three that we're talking to, but we're going to be talking to everybody to see. We want to be inclusive, but we also want to give our members the benefits that they can't get anywhere else, and looking after them. And it should be the case that if the manufacturer wants to reach X number of people, then That's what we're here for. By the same token, we want to sort of reach them as well. So, yeah, we are going to be all inclusive. Anything to do with the media, Madam there will look after it because I can't. But anything to do with the people, the knowledge, the background, that's probably my department.
So will you have sort of annual meetings, and will we be open to...
It's a very, very good point. I'm glad you asked that, Adrian. Those days of having meetings in hotels and looking as though we were doing stuff, those days are over. If we feel that there's a need for us to get involved, and we've already approached the Portable TV scheme about getting involved with APAG, the All-Party Parliamentary Archaeological Group, because we want a voice in that. We had a voice in it when I was with the other organisation. We want to get that voice back in again, because that sort of thing led us up to being involved with the formulation of the Treasure Act back in 1995, which came into effect in 1996. We want to get back on those tracks again, because we want to be able to preempt anything that's coming towards us, and to be aware that our members are aware that we are looking after them, and that they're looking after us by giving us all of the information. If they pick up something that's happening, a trend, we want to know about it, and we want to know about it in advance so we can do something about it.
Great, excellent. That's interesting.
It is, but as I say, we're going to be hopefully the new voice of metal detecting.
Wow. It's all gone quiet.
As you know, everybody's got a platform to come on to the Big Detecting Show. So, anytime in the future you want to come on and give us any updates or speak to your members directly via this medium, you're more than welcome to come on, as anybody is. Anybody in the world.
In fact, David, your organisation, we've got a link to your organisation on our platform now.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very kind of you.
Dave, we're an organisation now.
Might not be the one we're thinking of.
No,
might be the other one with the Basques.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, our TikTok channel.
Oh, Adrian, new website, Basques and Badgers. Mate, how good's that?
Are we doing Spin the Wheel tonight?
I think we best start. I think I better pull it up.
John and Laura, are you aware of this?
No, go on.
Spin
we have a website which just has some random pictures of me and Dave on it, bigdetectingshow.com, and we have a little bit of fun on there, which anyone can go on if they're sitting on their own on Christmas Day listening to Radio 3 and bored. They can go to the bigdetectingshow.com and click Spin the Wheel.
Detectingshow.com.
This isn't the thing you did at Detectoring where you interviewed us on the stage.
No, this is Spin the Coil.
This isn't. So on here we have some random questions.
Oh, good. Yeah, go on then.
So are we ready? Laura. Do you own a pair of Crocs?
God, no.
What's up with you, woman?
No.
What?
Everyone owns a pair of Crocs.
I do. No, I do. For gardening.
Yeah, perfect gardening shoe. And I'm a little bit shocked, Laura, that you've got...
To be honest with you, I don't even own a pair of heels. I've got more pairs of wellies and army boots.
What do you wear in the summer when you're on your allotment?
But okay.
See, right. You need Crocs.
On the allotment, I'd wear my old pair of. Can I say brand names?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'd wear an old pair of shoes.
You can't really. We're just lying.
Clark's school shoes and socks with shorts.
But if I'm going detecting, I have to wear wellies because I'm only little, and I pick up my shoes. So otherwise, I have to have the machine out here somewhere. I've only got little arms and little legs. I'm not like tall and lanky.
John, I think she needs some Crocs for Christmas.
No, I'm not.
Christmas
don't let me know
Crocs with
Crocs.
tinsel and stuff on.
She still finds more than me, and that hurts.
Yeah.
It's because I go slower.
Let's go for question 2. Spin the coil.
Who devised these questions? Detecting.
Adrian, you can ask this one because half the time I don't even know what you're on about.
John, what is your chosen drink of choice when metal detecting?
It's coffee, but coffee not made by me. I take a big flask, but my wife makes better coffee than I do. And the coffee I bring out for Laura and myself is absolutely undrinkable.
I'll second that. My wife makes better coffee.
Oh, I
than
thought
me.
you were saying that John can't make coffee then. And what's yours, Laura?
The same. He's the catering van.
I do the cake.
What's yours, Adrian?
Stella.
What? Detecting?
Drink at least 6 or 7 cans.
So
No, mine
really
is
a kind of thing at all.
lime, water and lime. It's refreshing and quite a nice drink. But I do take the occasional
Sparkling
beer.
flavoured water for me. Spin
Interesting.
the coil. You need to make a jingle here, Adrian.
It's got music. It's got a noise.
Has it?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, there, isn't it?
Scary.
Do badgers scare you, John?
My experience of badgers has always been such that I know where the sets are, and I know the farmers are not keen on actually getting rid of the sets, because what they're saying is that if they have got a problem with tuberculosis or TB or bovine TB, then they don't want to move it somewhere else. So they're happy to stay where they are. And I remember when many years ago, when the harvest was coming off, and the light nights was about 10:30, and we sat and watched a set that was in a small wood, and watching them come out and watching them go about their business was fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
It's all right, Dad. You don't know about the badger story, do you?
The badger story.
You need.
I don't know.
You need to
I
tell
don't know
them
if John's
about the badger.
aware, John. The National Council for Badger Statistics, 128.5 people are killed a year by badgers in the UK alone.
Is that because they run across roads and people drive into them? Is that it?
No, people are killed. 128.5 people are killed a year by.
Physically killed by badgers.
Yep, 128.5. Sorry, no, they're not.
Where's the? Oh, shut up! What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I was wondering why you were going to say why half.
Why
I was going to say a
half?
midget, or a person, porg, person with restricted growth, to be politically correct.
The one that got away.
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, come on, Adrian, is that really true?
No, but it is in my head. It is in my head because I nearly got killed by one or attacked.
No,
And I think it was a mating season, so it could have been even worse. But anyway, sorry, Dave. We have another
Spin
spin?
the coil. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
What do you do with your scrap metal, arse? What's
Yes,
the
I
apple?
don't know what's...
Brad Medler.
that's
Canadian.
A good one, that is.
Is that me? Oh,
I usually take mine home, go through it, pick out the bits of lead, pick out the bullets, and then chuck the rest in the bin.
See, I don't. I keep. I keep everything,
Oh yeah.
and then if the flow comes, I'll take the bag because there's little bits in there that could be anything.
Yeah.
So, like, I just keep it all. Oh my god! Don't think I've got like bin bags full of rubbish here. It's just
But yeah,
Keep them down at the allotments.
Order.
I might be chucking away some like Roman or Celtic something fascinating. But yeah.
I do remember going on one dig, and they got what's known as the gash bucket. They put them all over the place for people to put their rubbish in, so they're not carrying it around.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine to have this habit of going collecting all the bins, and he actually volunteered. I'll take the buckets home. What he was doing was going through the buckets, and he was finding stuff like Roman fibulas.
Well,
and because of the people hadn't got a clue what they were or weren't aware of the bits of it, and he was picking up all sorts of bits and pieces that these people have actually found for him.
it's interesting because Detectoring, or was it Rodney Cook? Detectoring this year, myself, Pomsey, who watches the show, we were looking in the bins, and some people had thrown in musket balls.
Yeah, they were
some nice, some stuff which is like
coins.
You know, it's got some
buckles.
history.
There was all sorts in there, wasn't there?
Yeah, but there was some good stuff in there, and people were chucking it in and didn't know what it was, which was quite sad, really.
I've found a foot patina.
Oh, a foot pattern. It was a foot pattern, yes.
Yeah, I've found one in a bucket before. I was like, who's chucking this away? It's like,
I thought you were actually going to tell us you'd found a foot, and that was going to get quite interesting. Then it's like Scotty B's hand.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people don't realise that they look at a foot pattern. If it's not incomplete, they'll think, oh, it's just an old bit of old rubbish. But they're fascinating. I know a guy who had a great collection of them, going way back.
Adrian, it done it again.
People in this hobby, some stranger than others, but all fascinating and all worth talking to.
Spin the coil. John, what shampoo do you use?
Anything my wife buys. Anything my wife puts in the bathroom for me.
he looks a Timotei man. Timotei.
I'd say Ice-T's still on the Bozine.
No, I'd say
Do you know
Timotei.
something? When I was a kid, that's all we ever had in our house. But I haven't seen it for years. Can you still buy it?
You can still get
kills.
it, but it's not the same smell.
No,
It's
it
not
kills.
the same as it was.
Doesn't it kill germs or gives you? Oh,
No, mate, that's domestos.
No. Phosine originally was designed to be antiseptic or something. But I reckon, John, in January, you'll be washing your hair with Lynx. I reckon.
Standard Christmas
sorry,
hobby.
Laura. Sorry.
Laura, what shampoo do you use? You've just spoiled your Christmas present to your dad.
Fairy.
No, just whatever's. I'm not really girly girl. Whatever's in the shop that's on sale.
Good.
So when you go to the shop in your Crocs to find some shampoo, you'll buy what? Timotei, Bozine, anything?
Wellies.
Dove.
She wears wellies to the shops.
You can get welly Crocs.
On that person you see in the shop and you go, where have they been? And it's like, well, I've either been out detecting and just can't be bothered. Well, I'm the person that walks in Aldi in the afternoon on a Sunday at like 10 to 4, covered in mud and smelling like cow poo.
Spin the wheel.
That's why she's.
Oh, here's a good one, John. I'll let you go first.
What is it, Dave?
Favorite metal detecting find, John?
Groats. I absolutely adore groats. I've got what, four beauties, absolute beauty. Oh, and my favorite coin of all is I've got a Charles II shilling, which is almost mint. The detail is outstanding. His beard, his hair. I'm really good. In fact, look at this because I'm in my den at the moment.
Can I just say that groats to me always sounds like a medieval ailment that happens down below, like, I don't know, something that's not very right. You have to have it cut off because of it.
Ooh, child, that's nice.
I can't see anything. I've got the wheel up.
And also, if I turn it round, it's quite a good condition, this one. Absolutely. I love them.
And what about you, Laura?
I'm just going through my Instagram and trying to. It'd either be. Oh, hold on. The first hammer I ever found, or that. It's the only silver Roman I've ever found. But look at it. It's beautiful.
Nice detail.
Do you know one of my favorite finds that somebody else has found was been gifted to me last night? I was out with Staffordshire Searchers saying Holdcroft a couple of months ago, and he was right next to me and brought up a cannonball, and I was devastated. So he brought it round last night. He's cleaned it up, and he's coated it in Graham Dempsey's composite cleaning pencil, microcrystalline wax, and it's absolutely stunning. And it's got pride of place in my office now. Thank you very much, Shane.
Dave, is that a cannonball or a cannonet?
Well, I don't know the difference, if I'm brutally honest, John. It's palm size anyway. There you go.
That's a nice one, Adrian. Oh, now you're showing off.
All right, calm down, Adrian. Calm down.
I just wanted to get your dad a bit excited.
What about this one, Adrian? It's a steel ruler.
That's nice, Dave. What you been measuring with that? Anyway, have we got one more spin the wheel before we go to bed?
One more before we go to bed. Spin the wheel.
My favourite one hasn't come up.
What? Yeah, there's a good one. What find out of everything when you go detecting, John? What do you hate the most?
Coke.
Yes.
Coke. I hate it. The signal is so good, so defined, so clear, and yet so disappointing. And the Deus is bloody murder for it.
You two, Laura?
And of course, Adrian swings into action and says, "This thing defies Coke."
The Deus 2 removes that problem, but find it.
Does it really work, Adrian?
It's very clever, very clever, very
Have
clever.
you actually tried it in the field?
Yeah, one of my permissions has got a lot of coke, and you're right. The old Deus was a lot. That's a lot quieter in the field. A lot quieter, better depth, different sets of tones. And when I mean tones, how can I put it? It's very similar to another popular manufacturer tones. But yeah, it looks the same. It is the same, but it's all the things I didn't like the keypad, everything. It's a lot better. But Laura, you've got a Knox which automatically knocks out Coke.
That's one of the reasons why I went from one brand to another brand, because I just could not. Because I had the light, so I was just going everything off my ears, and it just yeah. But the thing is, I'm not bothered about what I find. What I hate, which you'd have to leave for another night, is green waste. If I go, it just hurts.
We have a lot of problems around here in the Midlands. In fact, I wrote a paper on green waste, but then again,
yes, you did, John.
Which is published on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine website.
Yeah,
a very good article, and it's only going to get worse, people. I think it's only going to get worse.
In your neck of the woods, the local MPs around Colchester, Adrian. I went down to meet him twice in London, and I'm happy to say that he stood up in Parliament and read out a speech that I wrote for him, and he mentioned me 6 times in Hansard because I was the champion against green waste when green waste was at its worst. It's still bad now, but yeah, I mean, I find it absolutely horrendous.
I think also it's an awkward one, John, isn't it? Because as a detectorist, we're detecting on that land with all the green waste in, which I one of my permissions this year, I found, the big sacks you buy to put garden soil in.
Yeah.
The big not plastic Hessian. One of those was full of green waste, and it had somehow not been filtered out through whatever process. And that was on the field dumped with all the rubbish in it. There was chair legs, there was bits of mobile phone and everything. And surely filtering the fertilizer to go on the field, it should go through some sort of filtration system, and it obviously isn't. So the problem, I think, as a detectorist, not only are we eating food from all that lead and mercury rubbish that's in circuit boards and whatever in the ground, but when you're detecting, it is quite a hard one to sort of think, do I tell the tenant farmer or do I keep quiet? Because it's obviously cheaper than
There's a
Or
dilemma.
is he being ripped off?
There's
He
a
doesn't
dilemma
go.
there. When I was fully into all this, when I was actually exploring what it was all about before I wrote my paper, I discovered that a lot of farmers, some farmers don't know that they're buying rubbish. So therefore, when they discover that they have put rubbish on their land, they then keep very quiet about it because they obviously want to sell their produce. Those that discover that the land is polluted, right, that they will not. There's nothing you can do about getting rid of it because it'd be a monumental job, virtually scooping off the first 18 inches. So, but the problem that we have is that when I was actually investigating this in my own local council, I rang up and I said, what happens? You see, where I live, you get 3 bins. You get the household rubbish, garden rubbish, and you get stuff that can be salvaged. And the garden rubbish, most people, they behave normally, you know, green waste and stuff and weeds and all that. They all go. But we do know that where a lot of students are involved, they will obviously chuck everything in a particular bin. And when it's shared occupation, and I wrote to the council and I said, I wrote to the council first, and then I rang them up and said, what measures do you put in place to make sure that the composters that you use, and these are the people who obviously make good of this stuff. I said, well, what do you use to check on to make sure that they're actually giving good stuff to the farmers? And she said, well, that's simple, Mr. Wells. She said, what we do is we phone them up the week before and tell them we're coming to have a view. And I went, well, don't you think that they're forewarned is they're forearmed? She said, oh, Mr. Wells, that's being very cynical. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I know that the rubbish that's going on their land, batteries, sanitary products, all the stuff that's leaching into our rivers. And do you know something? When I contacted Friends of the Earth, Greenpeace, and all the rest of the so-called eco-warriors, they didn't want to know.
Well, listen, John, we'll love to have you back one night to discuss primarily about green waste, because it is a very important subject that we metal detectorists should be looking at, and obviously looking at taking further in the future and contacting all these people and, you know, making people more aware of what we can do as metal detectorists. But our time's nearly up. So before we go, could you summarize again about the AMDS, please?
Sure. We're an organisation now that's actually there's 2 organisations as such. ARMD, which is the 4 regions that have joined together to protect each other and to look after its members. And there's all the AMDS, which is Association for Metal Detecting Sport, which is, if you like, looks after the insurance side of things for our members. But not only insurance, we're going to be rolling out all sorts of things, benefits. We're going to be rolling out news, information, quizzes, topics, various articles that people have written for us. And also we're going to be spreading the word that there's a new organisation in town that's going to be looking after not only people in clubs, which we welcome most wholeheartedly, but also lots and lots of individuals who haven't had a voice before and now will have a voice in the future.
Fantastic. Well,
thank you, guys.
Sorry, John. It's been an absolute pleasure having you both on tonight.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, David.
Thank you very much, as it is yourself. And obviously, if you need any information distributing via ourselves, get it over to me in the next couple of days, and I'll have it sorted over the weekend and scheduled for whenever you want it to go live. And then obviously we can get the paper versions will be rad, and the digital via ourselves will be put out as well. Anything to add before we go, Laura?
Can I just ask the person? I was trying to look through the comments. The person that was on about the lottery fund.
Yes.
If you're still here, or you see this later, can you add me on Facebook and send me a message, and I'll get your details sent over. It'd be really interesting to talk to you.
His name was going up. Embers, then ashes. That's his YouTube channel anyway. Embers.
Very nice of him
Ashes.
to offer that. Very nice.
Definitely. But no, thank you for having us again.
Yeah, great.
More than welcome. It's a pleasure having you. It's lovely to see you. Hopefully, we won't be as long as Detectable before we see you in the flesh again, if COVID allows.
Yeah. Well, if you'll allow us, David, when we obviously get the thing moving, and from the launch next Monday, and as we sort of like get through all the teething problems and start enrolling people, myself and another chairman from another region would love to come back on and talk to you again.
Marvellous. Absolute no problem whatsoever. Give us a shout, and obviously we'll put you down. I've got to check in with next week's guest to see if he's still available. You'll like this one, John. His name's Daryl Miklos, and he was the principal person involved in the TV program on Discovery called Cooper's Treasure. Daryl Miklos' father was a very, very well-known treasure hunter in America way back in the 70s, all over the world on TV and such like. And for instance, some of the gold doubloons that have come up from his travels and diving on the 1715 fleet, absolute sensational stories he's got to tell. So I'll be checking in with him tomorrow to make sure. If not, we will have, obviously, another brilliant guest for you on the way. So thank you to John and Laura. Thank you as ever, Adrian.
Cheers, Adrian.
And we will see you. And thanks to Luke, of course. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to have a look for ArkMD Mag on Ko-fi. Ko-fi, that's correct, I think. Coffee. Buy us a coffee. Someone bought me a coffee the other night. And also, don't forget to have a look at the ArkMD Mag, which has got lots of new bits and bobs going up there. The store, for instance, where you can see all lots of things. And please go and visit Peaky Finders Detecting if you are considering buying any of the new products from Nocta Macro. Thanks again, John, Laura, and Adrian, and Luke, and to all the guests. And we will see you same time, same place next week. Good night, all.
See you, guys.
See ya.